Hello, I'm Avis Kalfsbeck, and this is the Peace is Here podcast. Welcome to Peacewarts, School of Peacecraft and Inquiry, where we practice the skills of peace through short classes. We take the peace work seriously, but not ourselves. If you're joining us mid-school year, you're not late. Orientation begins at episode 198. Welcome back to Peacewarts, Peace Scholars. We are in Resonant Charms 101 in the echo chamber. In our last lesson, we built our community immune system against rumors. Today, we move from the collective back to the individual. We are studying the ask behind the mask, the art of validation by identifying the unmet human need beneath aggressive or manipulative speech. The 20th century psychologist Marshall Rosenberg once observed, "Every criticism, judgment, diagnosis, and expression of anger is the tragic expression of an unmet need." The entry, decoding the frequency. In the department of resonant charms, aggression is almost always a mask. When someone speaks to us with sharp edges, using blame, manipulation, or use statements, they are usually operating from a place of perceived scarcity. We must recognize that masks usually hide one of 5 specific asks: safety, dignity, belonging, control, or grief. A peace scholar does not react to the mask. We listen for the misfiled request. Validation is not about agreeing with the behavior, it is about acting as a translator for the soul. The history, the union table, and the bus in Oslo. To see how identifying the ask changes a conflict, we look to a union strike in Detroit. A striker who refused every compromise was seen as stubborn or aggressive, but when a mediator looked behind the mask, they heard the striker say, "My dad built these engines." The ask wasn't just about a percentage raise, it was about honor for lineage and dignity for his family's story. We see this same pattern in a 2011 incident in Oslo. A bus driver shouted at a Somali mother for blocking the aisle. On the surface, it looked like simple anti-immigrant hostility. However, beneath the mask of anger was a man whose brother had just lost his job to automation. The ask wasn't about the stroller in the aisle. It was about a profound fear of losing his own usefulness and place in a changing world. By validating the need for dignity and security, we address the root rather than fighting the shadow. The thesis, the micro-practice of translation. The lesson for today is that you are a translator, not a target. When you are faced with a mask like anger or hostility, we practice the search for the noun. That means we listen past the loud adjectives and insults and look for the core human need underneath. If someone is screaming that a project is reckless and stupid, the adjectives are just a mask. The noun they are actually worried about is safety. You are translating their attack into the actual thing they are trying to protect. Once you know how to listen for that core need, you can use specific vocal tools to pull it to the surface. Some practical ways to identify the real issue without getting defensive are the protective question. Instead of asking, "Why are you yelling?" try asking, "What are you trying to protect right now?" This shifts the focus from the tactic to the value. The dignity prefix. Before offering any correction, use a dignity prefix like, "I hear how strongly you feel about this." This ensures the person feels seen before you address the content. Separating noun from verb. In community disputes, ask, "Is it the number or the timeline that worries you?" This separates the people from the pace. Acknowledge legacy. When someone is defiant, look for the history. Phrases like, "This work carries your family's story," can cool a room because the ask has finally been met. The Commons Forge. How does this concept of validation support a world of sharing? It frames individual emotional well-being as an interdependent resource within our shared social ecosystem. When we mistake a defensive mask for a permanent threat and retaliate, we trigger an escalatory cycle that fractures the community's cohesion. By utilizing deliberate micro-practices to uncover the hidden human requests beneath aggressive behavior, a peace scholar prevents this breakdown, stabilizing the interpersonal field so that neighbors can safely transition from hostile isolation to collaborative stewardship. Homework. 1. Look up the Center for Nonviolent Communication Needs List and identify which of the 5 asks, safety, dignity, belonging, control, or grief, you have been wearing a mask for lately. 2. Write down one question about any of this episode's topics. If you don't have a question, just write no question. 3. Optional. Journal about a recent aggressive interaction. If you had used the protective question, what are you trying to protect? How might that have changed the ask? If you'd like to read more on this subject, some book suggestions are Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life by Marshall B. Rosenberg, which serves as the definitive manual on looking past aggressive masks to identify unmet universal human needs through actionable communication practices, and High Conflict, Why We Get Trapped and How We Get Out by Amanda Ripley, an insightful examination of how people get stuck in toxic conflict loops that highlights the specific tool of looping as a powerful validation micro-practice to break out. These are also in the show notes with the homework. The clear signal. A clear signal is a deep signal. Do not be distracted by the paint on the mask. Look for the heart that is wearing it. If you can find the ask, you can find the peace. Until our next lesson, keep your heart in the harmonic. Class dismissed. Thank you for listening. If you're looking for your next read, I write books about strong friends, wild places, and a future worth the effort. The Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series follows 2 best friends, Tilly and Camus, strong, funny, and in love with the wild world, who decide their small choices add up to something. Hopeful eco-fiction for grown-ups, climate fiction without the doom. You can jump in anywhere or start with book 1. In 1 more year, Tilly can swim like a dolphin and run like the wind. She just never learned to cycle, which is a problem because she's decided to attempt her first Ironman. Her reason isn't glory. It's a quiet, stubborn idea. If one ordinary person can finish something this hard, maybe a whole town can be talked into buying less, wasting less, and keeping their stuff longer. 1 more year. To pull it off, Tilly leans on her best friend and coach Camus, tattooed, tequila-loving, and exactly the voice you'd want yelling at you from the shore, plus a gruff retired cycling pro hiding out on a private island, a pack of maverick mountain bikers, a salty old pirate named Ike, and Pedro, her devoted water dog. Together they train, scheme, fall a little in love, and slowly realize their northwest lake town of Sandglass is facing a threat bigger than any race. My books are available wherever books are sold, including at avaskolfsbeck.com. Podcast music is by Javier Peque Rodriguez, and the track is I Am Late, Madame Curie. Sound effects are from Pixabay. Regarding peace, we need not delay or despair. We are not late. We are right on time to love. We are all scholars of peace. Listen for the peace.